going to talk about is called user management. There I'm going to have a scenario. Write it out. Let me achieve a scenario. Okay. So in my pillars, okay, I am going to manage the two list. Let's say we'll have a 3 list. Okay. One is called as the admin users. Okay. Another one is called as the revoked users. Another one, let's call it like 2 different applications. So let's say app 1. Let me call it as web and DB. Web. Okay. It is a DB user. So in our scenario, we are having 2 servers. Okay. Let's call one server as the web server and another server as the DB server. Okay. And the admin user should be present on both the servers. Okay. And the revoked user should be removed from both the servers. Okay. And the web user should be able to available only in the web, and the DB user should be available only in my database. So this is the use case I want to show, or I want to write the state file. Okay. So there are 4 group of users. Okay. So one is the admin user. I want the admin user to be available in all the servers which are there. In our scenario, let's take example of 2 servers. Okay. Web and DB. And then I'm going to have a section called revoked users. In the revoked users, it should ensure that the user and the key related to the user should not be available in any of the servers. And I'm going to have a set of users called web users, and they should be available only in the web server, and DB users should be available only in the DB users. Okay. So for this, I am going to write a state file, and I am going to manage this user mapping in the pillars. Okay. So let's say how I'm going to write the pillar. So I am going to have the 4 pillars and 1 top.sls. So this will be the same scenario. So these are all the 4 pillars I'm going to have, and I'm going to map them in the top.sls. In the top.sls, I will be mapping these. Okay. So there for the node, I will be mapping it. Okay. So first, let's start writing the top, and then we will start writing our pillars. So for this, so I think we already have the pillar.sls, right? .sre pillars. In this, for every, we are assigning the Apache pillar, right? Adding to that, I can add. So I'm going to create a directory called users. Inside that, I'm going to have 4 pillars created. So this is what I'm going to map for every server. Users dot admins, then users dot revoked users, and then I'm going to create one more group called is applicable only for the CentOS machine. users dot let me call them as a web admins. Okay. Web admins, web admins, and then let me create one more group called Ubuntu star. Okay. Users dot so I'm going to have four pillar files. Okay, so those pillars will be under the users directory, and for every server the admin and the revoked user will be allocated. For the server starting with CentOS star, I'm going to have the web admins pillar, and then DB admins will be applicable only for the Ubuntu server. Okay, so let me share this file to you guys. This is the top file mapping. This is the existing top file. I'm just updating that because we have a top file for Apache, right? So now let me make a directory called users, and inside the pillar, that is var, the pillar will be there, slash heavy slash plus slash ers users. So I'm creating a users directory. Inside that, I'm going to write 4 pillars for it. Okay. SRB pillars users, and then the name will be admins. Here, I'm going to have users. Okay. I'm writing it in the YAML format. Okay, so let me call this as what is the name I can give? Admin user. Admin user is the username. Then for the admin user, I'm going to provide a couple of parameters. So full name, we call this as admin space user, and then what is the UID for the user? Let me say that let me use something about 1000 1100. And then for this user, I am going to provide the keys. Basically, the authorized key is what I'm going to give here. Let me give 2 different keys. Okay, I'm having some random keys. I'll just use it. Or some random keys. Okay, this is the first key, and let me give the another key. Salt. Okay, so this is my first pillar where I want the user with the username admin user to be created, and the full name is admin user and UID is this, and he want to have 2 authorized key folder. Okay, so first let us save this. Okay, now I'm going to create another pillar which will be revoked users. Name I have given is revoked users. Okay. So revoked users .SLS. Okay. Users, name of the user, let me call it as revoked. Name is user. UID, to be on the safer side, let me put some bigger numbers because I don't want any user with 2001 removed. And then yes, okay, yes. At the rate of so this pillar is for the revoked user, and any user with the username revoked will be removed. Yes. The next file I'm going to create is called the web admins. Web admins plus users web admin. Web admin is the username. Full name is admin. Call it as D1. I think I given 1100. So I'll give it like 1101. Then admin at the rate of. So this is the web admin pillar file. The web admin. Next thing, so let me create a DNS. dbadmins.sls. Use ERS. This db admin admin ID 02 fun. Yes. db admin at the rate of 10 and keys db admin at the rate of keys. So now my top.sls and the mappings are fine. So users admin.sls, admins.sls, revoked users. So this will be applicable on all the three servers, all the two servers, and web admins will be applicable only to the CentOS, and db admin will be applicable only to the Ubuntu. So my pillars are ready and my top file is also ready. Now let us start creating our state file. So there KDIR salt users create a users directory under the state directory. And create a file salt users init.sls. So here, the first thing is I'm going to do a for loop, because the first thing I'm going to do is any one part of the revoked users pillar. Okay, I want to so basically this is a dictionary variable, right? When you see the file, it is purely a dictionary variable. I'll just show you this one. This is a kind of a dictionary variable. So if I want another user to be added, I'll be adding something like this below in the same indentation so that I can run it in this scenario. So let's say if I want to use it like for another user, I'll be doing that. So I need to run a loop around the users inside the revoked users. So I'm going to run a for loop for this. So let's see, how do I do that? Just for showing you a dictionary variable, I have copy pasted it. It will be totally different value. Okay. So for to use for user. So this is the variable. I'm going to get the for, and I'm going to get it from the args in get. Revoked users into dot terms. So every items under the revoked user, I'm going to run it in a for loop. This is writing here. So in the pillar, I'm getting the revoked user pillar. Inside that, every item of the revoked users. Okay. The next thing is, so I'll be having the value in the variable user. For every user, I need to ensure that user dot absent. So to create a user dot present, and then in here user dot absent. User dot absent. Then the respective group also I need to remove. Group dot then next is I'm going to put a condition. If it has a SSH key argument, I need to remove the keys from user's root key and also the user's normal key. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to put a if condition saying if args as a variable called SSH key, SSH hyphen keys, go into the condition is user root I need to remove the SSH underscore auth dot absent and I'm going to remove the key from the user. Basically, from the root user, I'm removing the keys. Hyphen names. And there could be a possibility that one user can have multiple keys. If you remember the for one of the user, I have given multiple keys, right? Admin user. So one user has a possibility saying that he can have multiple keys. So I need to run it in a loop. For that, I'm going to put a loop or key in args different keys and then stage curly bracket, and then I'm going to provide the key name here. So it will be hyphen. So the key variable is stored here, key. And then I am going to end this particular for loop. This for loop is for the keys. And for. So this one, first I'm running a bigger for loop. There it is going to get list of all the revoked users, and then it is going to remove the user using the user module, user.absent and group.absent. Then any key present for that user, I am going to remove it from the root user's key using the SSS auth module. And next is I am going to remove the user's key. In the user's home directory, there will be a key, right? So that is what I'm going to do. It will be user underscore key SSH auth absent this is for the particular user. User will be user, that is the variable where I have the user ID, and then if a name, and this will follow the same for loop. And then let me close the if condition. So I'm closing this if condition on page end if percentage, and then I'm going to close the for loop for the revoked user. Page end for percentage. So here I'm going to have the first get the list of revoked users from the revoked user pillar, and I'm going to run it in a loop, and it will remove all the users in the revoked user pillar, and then it will delete the keys from the user's home directory and also the root user's home directory. Okay, there could be a scenario that the same key is used for the root user also. So I'm just removing this. Okay, so this is for the revoking the user. Now let's just write a small add user. Okay. User args pillar dot get so I'm going to get the pillar users items. Space in between the items. Let me just remove it. Okay, and then let me create the user. Okay, first let me create the group. Use the UID as the group ID also. Group hyphen GID. I want to use the args. UID. And then let me create the user dot full name will be in the args. I have a field called full name. Let me get the UID. UID is also from the args. Args ID. Something with the GID. So the GID and UID are going to be the same. Next field I'm going to provide is the shell for the user. /bash. If the user is part of, if the operating system is Ubuntu, I want them to be added to the particular group. Okay, so percentage if times OS equal to Ubuntu. This is the if condition. If the grain is Ubuntu, I'm going to add them to a particular groups. Or I can say that they should be part of the group. ADM group. CD-ROM group should be able to access the CD-ROM. Device group. Was the if condition. So I'm going to get all the users in the list, okay, and then I'm going to create the user. For that, I'm getting the arguments from the pillar file itself. Okay. Next is I'm going to add the key to the root user and also to the current user. Okay, so if it is having m, so I'm going to put a condition percentage if args SSH -1 keys if the SSH keys is available. So I'm going to add the key to both the root user and also the current user. User. User score root underscore key REC are present. the user root means here I'm going to run the for loop. For I think this should be enough. For keys in argument SSH keys, key is the value, and then end of the for loop. Add the key for the user score key same thing SSH auth present, then need to provide the user will be the user section. Okay. Thing names. Names for SSH key argument, key, and then end the for loop. Then let me close the end of the if loop. Stage and if then. So this will be your complete playbook. First, in the rejected users, I'm getting the rejected users and removing all the users. First, removing the user and the group, and then removing the key from the root user and the normal user. Then I'm going to do the similar thing for the users section. Now, adding to that, let me add some couple of one more thing. Like basically, when you add a user to the sudo group, they need to be provided the password, right? So for that, I'm just going to create any sudo user can be able to execute any commands without any password. So normally we will be doing that in the vi sudo file, okay? Or in the sudo-was.d, I can create a configuration file. So let me create that here. So /c/ sudo-d no SSWD sudo no password file dot managed alt the users files /dos dot d sudo no. We'll create this file, and this file should be the file ownership should be owned by root. The group should be root. And the file permission should be readable only by the root user and the root group 440. Okay. So this is the additional thing where I'm going to create a new sudo's configuration file. Okay, I will write the content of the sudo's configuration file later. Sudo no password will create this file. Okay, first let me save this. I'll share this file with you guys after trying to run that. Okay, so let me create a directory first. So kdir -p. Then let me create this file pi sudos.d / sudo no password. Here it will be who are part of the sudo group. It will be equal to all my SSWD. Yes. Normal sudo syntax where who are part of the sudo group, I don't want them to ask for the password, any commands. Okay. So let me save this. I'm having some issue on the. Okay, I didn't close the UID arguments. Okay, let me just. So this file. Close the UID and. Now, okay, I think this is completed. So let me share these files. This is the file. It's completed on both the servers. I just wanted to check it once. This yes. This was Ubuntu. In Ubuntu also, all those things changed. This is the file. Then mkdir sudo mkdir this is the file. This is the file. This is the content of it. And then apply this on these two nodes. Okay. So now, after running this state file, okay, if you see the cat/etc password, you can see that admin user is created and web admin is created on the CentOS. Okay. Same if you run it on the Ubuntu, you could see admin user is created and then the DB admin is created.